A Course in Miracles, Lesson 331. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. How foolish, Father, to believe your Son could cause himself to suffer. Could he make a plan for his damnation and be left without a certain way to his release? You love me, Father. You could never leave me desolate, to die within a world of pain and cruelty. How could I think that love has left itself? There is no will except the will of love. Fear is a dream, and has no will that can conflict with yours. Conflict is sleep, and peace awakening. Death is illusion. Life, eternal truth. There is no opposition to your will. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. Forgiveness shows us that God's will is one, and that we share it. Let us look upon the holy sights forgiveness shows today, that we may find the peace of God. Amen. Lesson 331. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. A boy once lived in a small town where every morning the fog rolled in thick and heavy. He believed the fog was dangerous. He believed it hid creatures waiting to judge him, punish him, or drag him off if he stepped too far from home. So he made a plan. He mapped out safe routes, memorized shadows, and even built tall fences around his yard to keep the fog out. His whole world became a maze of barriers meant to protect him from something that wasn't even real. One day, the boy's father watched him dragging new planks across the yard, hammering them into yet another wall. The father said nothing. He simply stood there with a small lantern in his hand, glowing warm and steady. The boy kept hammering, heart racing, convinced he was fighting for his safety. The father finally asked, "What are you trying to keep out?" The boy pointed at the fog. He spoke about the monsters he imagined, the dangers he was certain existed just beyond the fence. The father listened. He didn't argue. He simply lifted the lantern a little higher. There was a quiet moment when the light touched the fog. It didn't reveal monsters. It didn't expose danger. It simply showed the fog melting away wherever the light reached. The boy blinked. He stepped closer to the lantern. And the closer he came, the more the fog thinned until it completely vanished around him. He looked back at his walls. He realized every barrier he built was based on something that had no power at all, something that never had a will of its own. The father saw the confusion in his son's eyes and placed the lantern in his hands. "When light is yours," the father said, "what could oppose it?" The boy felt warmth spreading through his palms, up his arms and into his chest, as if the lantern were reminding him of something he had always known. He took a deep breath. The fear he carried for so long loosened, then dissolved, just like the fog had. For the first time, he walked past the fence without hesitation. The light went with him. Every step he took expanded the circle of clarity around him. Every step showed him the fog had never been an enemy. It had only ever been confusion. A dream he once believed. The farther he walked, the more he understood that his father hadn't rescued him. He had simply shown what was already true. There was no conflict because the light in the lantern and the light within him were the same. There was no conflict because fear never had a real will to begin with. There was no conflict because love does not divide itself into attacker and protector. The boy looked back at the house. His father stood in the doorway, peaceful, untroubled, as if he always knew this moment was coming. And he did. The father knew no child could truly be lost in a world where only light is real. He knew no plan for suffering could ever defeat what love had created whole. When the boy returned home, he placed the lantern on the table and smiled. He finally understood his father's words. There is no conflict when the will is shared. There is no threat when the light is won. There is no fear when the fog is recognized as nothing. Forgiveness became simple after that. Whenever the fog gathered, he lifted the lantern. Not to fight, not to defend, but to remember. And every time he remembered, the fog disappeared. Peace returned. And the boy walked freely in a world that had never truly held him prisoner. There is no conflict, for my will is yours.